Jennifer, welcome back to the program here.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely so. Democrats control all the countywide elected seats here, as you well know. Your opponents out there talking about how there's no Republican candidate in 75% of the county races this year, and also says 3/4 of the precinct chairs are vacant right now. Why should Republican voters in Dallas County re-elect you?
Well, many of those vacant candidacies are judicial candidates. And judicial candidates are hard to recruit until we can prove to them that Republicans can outvote Democrats. And so that's the vast majority of those. And as far as the precinct chair goes, it's really misinformation. We have a lot of precincts in Dallas County that have no people in them. We have precincts that are ditches. We have precincts that are waterways. We have precincts that are businesses. So really, when you look at the numbers, if you look at the Dallas County election department's numbers, there's about 464 voting precincts. That means we have people there that are a substantial vote, and of those, we filled over 300. So it's a little distorting.
Districts are now drawn so narrow, so tight that it's either Democrat or Republican. There's very few swing districts at all here. So it makes it difficult to flip seats. Where do you see any way to pick up any seats anywhere in the county?
I think we have a good chance of picking up House District 115. We've got a great candidate there.
Who's the incumbent there right now?
It's an empty seat. It's Julie Johnson's
Julie Johnson's seat
old
in northern
seat.
Dallas County.
Correct. And we have a Coppell city council member, former city council member running, John Junn. He's well known out there, and so we're real excited about him. We're hopeful for Jason Metcalf. He's running for Commissioner Court number 1. It is a blue district. However, when they redistricted that district, it became a little bit more red than it was before. So those are two of the big districts that we're looking at. But primarily, we're seeing change starting to happen in the surrounding cities. Not so much in Dallas proper, but we just won a conservative runoff in Rowlett City Council. So there's a lot of stuff going on in the outer cities that we feel like we can pick up.
How hard is it to be a Republican in Dallas County?
It can be hard to be a Republican in Dallas County. It can be hard to be a Republican anywhere. But, you know, I get along pretty well with my Democrat cohorts. I do well on the election commission. I get along with the people downtown. If you aren't diplomatic and you don't get along, you can't get anything done. So you have to be able to work with others.
How do you plan to, if reelected, how do you plan to position the party to pick up more seats than just those couple you mentioned there? Where's the path to victory for the GOP since it controlled this county 20 years ago?
Well, we've started down a really great path. So I was able to raise a lot of money for the party, which enabled me to buy data. So I was able to buy information on Republicans and independents. And we've also established our own messaging platform, which allows us to text and email economically. And we've seen it work. The Rowlett seat I was talking about, we worked really hard a texting campaign there, and we were able to take that seat. Jonathan Reeves, who won, actually lost in the general. Nobody got 51%, so there was a runoff, and he beat his Democrat opponent there by 12 points. And that's the first time we really were able to use that information and that system, and we think we can do that. We think we can do it a lot of different places.
Why do you think Allen West is challenging you?
You know, that's the question I get asked all the time when I'm out campaigning. And, you know, if you look at his tenure as the state party chair, you know, it seems to me that he's trying to boost his paid speaking engagements. He wants to be on Fox News more, and perhaps like when he was the state chair, he wants to build a platform to run for a higher office. That's not why I'm doing it. I'm very concerned about what's going on in our country. I have 2 young children who are young adults. I'm worried about them. I want to make sure they have the same opportunities that I had growing up in Dallas. And I'm also concerned about election integrity and how the public feels about the security of elections and the transparency of our elections.
The State Republican Executive Committee refused to distance themselves last year from Nazis. What do you think about the direction of the state party right now?
You know, I think the state party is starting to change. I think they're starting
How
to
so?
understand. Well, you look at it, look at my opponent. He was the head of the state party at one point in time. However, I'm endorsed by 24 of the State Republican Executive Committee members. He doesn't have one endorsement from the group he used to lead. I think that they recognize that we have to be level-headed. We can't just represent one branch of the Republican Party, and we have to nominate candidates that can get elected in their various districts.
There are only 2 Republican state reps in Dallas, Angie Chin Button, Morgan Meyer. how do you define success when you're looking out there to the future?
Well, we're going to pick up, like I said, I think we can pick up 115, and we have to increase the base. The only way that Republicans in Dallas County are going to start winning is by recruiting new people to vote conservatively. And we're doing that with our messaging platform, and we're starting to reach voters who, if they haven't voted, many of them haven't voted at all. So, you know, there are a lot of people out there that don't vote. If you look at the percentage of votes in Dallas County, there's a lot out there to go get.
How do you get them?
You have to go out there and talk to them.
Republicans are motivated voters as is, much more than Democrats, I would argue.
Yes, but there's a whole population of people who are conservative who are not being motivated to vote. You do it by finding candidates they can align with. You do it by going into their communities and talking to them and establishing a relationship. It doesn't happen in a cycle. Yeah. It's going to take a few years. Dallas didn't turn blue overnight, and it's not going to turn red overnight.
Jennifer, what are your goals for Republican victory in November?
Increase the number of voters that are voting conservatively, get our message out, use this new messaging platform we have. I'll give you an example. We've already recruited 18 people from using our texting platform to look at running for municipal seats in May of 24. And that's a strong platform.
Well, if you're trying to get voter turnout and you've already increased people who might be interested in running, how do you define success? What's your threshold for success then?
We have to pick up seats. We have to pick up seats. We have to increase the number of Republican voters in Dallas County, and it's going to be a little bit at a time. You have to, slow and steady is going to win this race. We're going to have to be patient, and we're going to have to work hard.
Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you.